Last week, I asked you for your doll-related questions, both here on the community tab and over on Instagram, and you came up with some great ones. So today I'm going to answer as many of those as I can. If you like this sort of chatty Q&A style video, do let me know down in the comments. If you have a question that isn't answered today, I'm hoping to do one of these every month, so hopefully you'll get a chance next time. I'll put another post up on the community tab nearer the time. If you just found me, by the way, my name's Jo. I'm a full-time artist based on a narrowboat in South Wales. The first question comes from Instagram. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. Yes, I do. Thanks for coming over. What made you want to make dolls? What was your original inspiration? I started making dolls in 2011. I finished my physiotherapy degree in 2010 and was planning on starting a career in that field. I didn't know at the time I was autistic. The work placements and all the pressure involved left me totally burned out, and I was just unable to even start looking for a job. I was looking for a creative outlet. I've always done things like painting, drawing, making things, and I just really needed to do something creative to help me recover. I had a friend who was making dolls. She was making very girly, very feminine dolls for more for toys for children. My daughter came home from school and was looking at them one day, and she was saying, wouldn't it be cool if there was something like that was a bit darker, a bit more Gothic looking? And I thought, yeah, I can make something like that. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I had no idea how to make a doll. My first attempts were pretty awful. I had an image in my head of how I wanted a doll to look. I loved the characters of Tim Burton. I was also influenced by the art of Suzanne Woolcott. Looking back with hindsight, I realised that my experience as an autistic person, the way I relate to the world and to other people, was a huge influence on my art and on my dolls. I drew the faces the way that felt most natural to me. I did try other styles, but they just felt wrong. The minimalistic, button-eyed, Gothic face style seemed to resonate with me the most, and it resonated with other people too. That's what people responded to, so I carried on making them, and they've evolved from there over the years. The next question is, what are some tips you'd give to beginners? I love your dolls, they are adorable. Thank you. Are you selling, or are you willing to sell personalised dolls? Tips I would give to new doll makers, to beginners: try joining doll making groups on whatever social media sites you're on. I started on Facebook. I joined some Facebook doll making groups. Talk to other doll makers. Learn as much as you can from them, but don't copy what you see them doing. Don't be afraid to experiment with different styles, different techniques. Come up with your own unique style and develop it, and that's what will make you stand out from the crowd. The Susanna Oroyan books, I think that's how you say her name, but her books are amazing. There's so much information packed into them. This book is awesome. There's loads of doll making info packed into it. I will put a link in the description to it, and I found it really helpful when I started, and I think you will find it helpful too. So the second part of this question is, are you willing to sell personalised dolls? I used to do commissions or personalised dolls for people. I stopped doing that for two reasons. The first reason I stopped was it just became far too stressful. I always ended up underestimating how long a doll was going to take, and I would end up undercharging by a long way. I used to get really anxious about it. I'd worry about meeting people's expectations, and it just sucked all the joy out of doll making. The reason I started doing this full time was because I wanted to do what I loved for a living, and I wasn't loving it anymore. The other reason I stopped was when I started working here on my boat, I had to drastically cut down the amount of materials I kept in stock. There's very little room for storage here. And when you're doing commissions, you need to keep a lot of materials in stock. People often want something very specific, and you have to either keep that in or you have to keep buying new materials in for it. And I just don't have the room here for that. So it's really not practical to offer commissions at the moment. I might at some point in the future, but for now, it's just not something that I can really do. The next question we have is, what materials do you use? I use pretty much anything that's vegan friendly. I've been vegan since 2010, so I don't use any materials that have animal products in them. I use 100% cotton, quilting cotton fabric for the base fabric, for the skin of the doll, and for some of the clothes. For stuffing, polyester fibre is probably the easiest material to stuff with. I started out using polyester fibre for stuffing. Now I use kapok fibre because I really like the results you can get from it. I also like the fact that kapok fibre is a natural plant-based fibre. I use lots of other materials like lace, ribbon, various beads. I generally put some Amazon links in the description of my videos. If materials I use are available on there, I'll show you where you can find them. They are Amazon affiliate links, so I just make a few pennies if you buy something from the link. The next question we have is, how do you do the joints? It looks really cool. Thank you. I mostly use bead jointing techniques and basic hinge joints on my dolls. I have made some videos before about my jointing techniques. I'll put a link to a video in the description. Also, the Susanna Oroyan book I mentioned earlier has some info about bead jointing in it, so that is really worth buying if you want to learn how to do that. The next question came from the community tab here on YouTube. I have a question. Your dolls are not really for small children to play with, but they can get dirty anyway. Are they washable? Thanks for your question. My dolls are made as art dolls. Art dolls are quite different from toy dolls in that they really aren't made to be played with. They can be quite delicate and won't withstand a child playing with them, so I don't recommend them for children at all. Washing a textile art doll could spoil their hairstyle. There are some water-based glues used in the construction which could dissolve in soapy water. Also, the fabrics that are used might not be colour safe, so some of the dyes can transfer onto lighter colours and cause staining. So I really don't recommend washing them. Keep your dolls somewhere safe. Display them on a shelf or in a cabinet. You can brush the dust off them with a soft brush or a lint roller, but do keep them out of reach of children. Don't allow children to play with them. If you handle them carefully and keep them safe, they will last you for years. If you'd like to know more about how my dolls are made, watch this video next, and I'll see you next time. Bye!